Hi, I am Bob, the Senior Manager at Event Tech.
Hi, I am Dave, the Technical Lead.
I am Mary, the developer.
I am Nicholas, the Senior Developer.
I am Pat, the Business Analyst.
I am Deepa, the tester.
I am James, the Web Designer. We have hired an expert coach to take us into the Agile world.
We have a client who needs help.
Okay, let's meet the client.
Hi, I am Dr. Tracy, the Chief Executive of the hospital. We are badly in need of a patient management system, PAMS. Meet my colleague.
Hi, I am Dr. Lucy, currently in charge of the patient records.
We need to automate this department to manage patient information and also customer care. Can you help us?
Here is what we need for PAMS, the patient management system. Oh, yes. We need a doctor's portal to help the patient better. Dr. Tracy, can you think of anything else?
Shouldn't the nurse have access to the patient records?
Sure, and here it is. Let's get started with these, and I am sure we will find more as we go.
I'll be coordinating with the client, team and the coach.
We are excited to put our agile learning to practice on this PAMS project.
Won't you be a part of the team?
Coach says completing all the modules and activities will help us get certified.
Come, let's learn together.
Yeah, time to get some Agile foundation.
This way, team.
Welcome to ProplanX. I am Ved and I'll be your guide on your PMI Agile certification journey. You may be here to prepare for the PMI-ACP exam or to obtain 21 contact hours or for the PDOs. No matter what, all I ask of you is to stay focused, go through the entire course and its various activities. I can assure you that you will have a great time learning about Agile and how it may help you in your projects. So let's get started. This pictorial representation of the contents shows how the chapters are presented going forward. The chapters colored in blue cover the basics of Agile. The chapters colored in green provide an idea of what happens in an Agile project, such as within an iteration or a release. The chapters colored in red are factors that influence a project throughout and focuses on people, quality and risk. The chapters colored in yellow discuss about mapping PMBOK guide to Agile and about the PMI-ACP exam strategies. In the introduction chapter, we discuss about Agile Manifesto values and principles, which form the foundation for the various Agile methodologies. A typical Agile project lifecycle and an Agile project management framework are also introduced. Traditional definitions of project and project management are provided for comparison and completeness. Progressive elaboration supports Agile in its incremental approach to product development. The Agile Methods chapter presents the two most well-known Agile methodologies in detail: Scrum and Extreme Programming, or XP. Next, Lean and Kanban are presented along with a brief description of other methods, such as Crystal, DSDM, FDD, and AUP. Initiate project chapter. Customers have a business need that needs to be satisfied. The business case and vision statement are outputs of that process. Customers authorize a project by issuing a project charter and developing a high-level product roadmap. Once the project is started, the Agile project manager or the Agile coach needs to handle stakeholders and their expectations. In the requirements chapter, stakeholders' needs are documented as user stories and maintained in a product backlog, which the team needs to convert into a working product. The customer or the product owner is responsible for the product backlog. Value and prioritization chapter. Various factors that go into prioritization are described. Financial prioritization and customer valued prioritization are also covered. Estimating chapter discusses about the basic estimating units of story points and ideal time. Planning poker and affinity estimating are covered along with other time and cost estimation techniques. Understand how cone of uncertainty plays a part in estimating and why buffering is required. In Agile planning, we discuss velocity, release, and iteration planning. Definition of done is also explained. In Agile analysis, we explain how customer needs can be modeled using prototypes, story maps, wireframes, and personas. The chapter on Agile development discusses acceptance test-driven development and XP practices of test-first development or test-driven development. It explains the advantages of continuous integration during development and how to implement work-in-process limits. Communication and reports chapter. We cover communication management. The high visibility of an Agile project is made possible through the various reporting tools such as burn-down chart, burn-up chart, cumulative flow diagrams, escape defects, cycle time, and earned value management. We discuss how a release and an iteration are monitored. Agile closure chapter. Once an iteration or a release or a project is completed, lessons learned are conducted in Agile retrospectives. Reasons for Agile failures are also discussed. Considerations for Agile compliance are addressed here. Agile focuses heavily on people. About the team chapter discusses relevant concepts pertaining to the project team, including seating arrangements, co-location, distributed teams, osmotic communication, advantages of collaboration, team motivation, knowledge sharing, and active listening, which leads to creating high performance and empowered teams. All projects have to handle uncertainties, and this is the focus in the risk management chapter. Agile projects use risk backlogs and risk burn down graphs to manage risk. Spikes and risk audits are also covered here. The different types of testing used in agile development and the difference between verification and validation, along with the continuous improvement strategies, are presented in the quality chapter. The chapter closes with a brief look at the 7 basic tools of quality control. An agile project manager or the agile coach is a key person in guiding the project to success. This chapter is about you and discusses what you, as the agile project manager, are expected to possess. Topics covered include adaptive leadership, servant leadership, emotional intelligence, conflict management, leadership styles, coaching and mentoring, and finally, PMI Code of Ethics. PMBOK and Agile chapter presents an overview of how the 10 different knowledge areas with their 47 processes can be mapped to Agile and its practices. About the exam chapter discusses what a candidate needs to know from the perspective of the examination, the strategy to adopt in writing the exam, and understanding briefly the style of exam questions. To keep you engaged in the learning process, we have many activities. There are 7 quiz modules and 1 full-length final exam of 120 questions, mimicking the actual PMI-ACP exam in its complexity. Additional reading links, where provided, takes you to external references for more detailed study. There are crosswords, puzzles, match terms, fill blanks activities to help you recollect and understand the various agile-related terms. Appendix contains a wealth of information such as references to PMI suggested agile books and other sources, PMI prescribed PMI-ACP syllabus, glossary as a ready reference, and an index of all terms used in this course. So let's get started.